Did you know that by the time you hit 75 years, you could lose nearly half of your muscle mass? That's not a typo. 50% gone. This condition, known as sarcopenia, affects more than 60 million seniors worldwide, and it's one of the biggest reasons so many older adults end up in hospitals, or worse, lose their independence entirely. But here's the wild part. New research shows this level of muscle loss isn't just a normal part of aging. It's not inevitable. In fact, there's a group of seniors, often called super-agers, who maintain the kind of strength, balance, and muscle function you'd expect from someone decades younger. We're talking about 80-year-olds who still hike mountains, play sports, and live on their own. No assistance, no limitations. So what's their secret? Well, scientists at places like the Mayo Clinic and Harvard have uncovered 7 powerful habits that help protect and even rebuild muscle well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Shockingly, 95% of seniors have never even heard of these habits. And the most important one? It's something most people are doing wrong every single day. A common mistake that may be accelerating your muscle decline without you realizing it. So stick with me until the end, because correcting that one habit could be the difference between staying strong and independent or becoming reliant on others. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from. And if you're into practical, science-backed tips like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. All right, let's jump into the first habit. Method number 1, daily inflammation management. Here's something most people don't realize. One of the biggest enemies of your muscles as you age is something you can't even see: inflammation. Specifically, chronic low-grade inflammation, or what scientists now call inflammaging. It's a slow, silent process that breaks down muscle tissue faster than your body can rebuild it, no matter how much you exercise or how well you eat. And here's the kicker. Inflammation doesn't just cause muscle breakdown. It also blocks the very signals that tell your body to grow new muscle, especially after workouts or meals. So even if you're doing the right things, inflammation could be silently undoing your progress. But super-agers, the seniors who stay strong well into their 80s and beyond, have figured this out. They follow very specific anti-inflammatory habits that keep their muscles protected and performing. First, they take sleep seriously. And I don't just mean clocking hours. I mean deep, uninterrupted sleep in a completely dark room. Missing out on quality sleep can spike inflammatory markers by up to 45%, instantly putting your muscles at risk. Second, they focus on gut health. That's because the gut and inflammation are directly linked. As we age, our gut bacteria change, often for the worse. Super-agers eat a wide variety of fiber-rich plant foods, aiming for 30 or more different types per week, along with fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut to feed good bacteria and fight inflammation from the inside out. Third, they're smart about exercise. Yes, movement matters, but overtraining can actually increase inflammation. Super-agers typically stick to moderate intensity exercise most days and throw in short bursts of high intensity just once or twice a week. It's about balance, enough movement to keep the body strong without tipping into stress mode. And finally, they use anti-inflammatory compounds consistently. We're talking about omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish or supplements, curcumin from turmeric, and polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil. One study showed that this combination alone can drop inflammation levels by up to 39% in just 12 weeks. Want to see how you're doing? Ask your doctor for a simple blood test called high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, or hsCRP. Super-agers usually have levels below 1.0 milligrams per liter, while the average senior has levels 3 to 5 times higher. If you want to hold on to your strength as you age, managing inflammation isn't optional. It's essential. Method number 2, blood sugar stability. Here's a habit that flies under the radar but has a massive impact on muscle health: keeping your blood sugar stable. Why does this matter? Because chronically elevated blood sugar levels, even if you're not diabetic, lead to a process called glycation, where sugar molecules stick to proteins, including muscle tissue. This damages cells, accelerates aging, and dramatically weakens muscle performance over time. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that seniors with the highest blood sugar variability had significantly lower muscle mass and strength than those with more stable glucose levels, even if they had the same calorie or protein intake. Super-agers understand this connection and manage their blood sugar with a few key practices. First, they start their day with protein and fiber, not carbs. This prevents the massive glucose spikes you get from sugary cereals, toast, or juice. Think eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie. Second, they combine carbs with protein, fat, or fiber in every meal. For example, instead of eating a banana alone, they'll pair it with almond butter or Greek yogurt. This slows digestion and flattens the blood sugar curve. Third, they move after eating. Something as simple as a 10-minute walk after a meal can cut post-meal glucose spikes in half, according to research from the University of Missouri. And lastly, they limit ultra-processed foods and added sugars, especially at night, when insulin sensitivity is naturally lower. The result? More stable blood sugar, less inflammation, and stronger, healthier muscles. Because when your blood sugar is balanced, your entire body works better. And that includes your ability to build and preserve muscle. Method number 3, progressive resistance training. If there's one habit that separates 80-year-olds with exceptional strength from everyone else, it's this: progressive resistance training. And no, we're not talking about casually lifting soup cans or doing a few leg raises. We're talking about a structured approach that's been called the most powerful anti-aging tool ever discovered. Here's the thing: your muscles work on a strict use it or lose it principle. But there's a catch. It's not just about using them. It's about challenging them. And most seniors simply don't push their muscles hard enough to keep them strong. Super-agers do things differently. First, they prioritize intensity over duration. That means they're not spending hours at the gym. They're doing short, focused workouts that push their muscles to the edge. A study from McMaster University found that seniors who trained with high intensity just twice a week gained more muscle than those training at moderate levels 5 times a week. The secret? Reaching momentary muscular failure, the point where you physically can't do another rep with good form. Second, they focus on compound movements, exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. Think squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, even modified versions depending on mobility. These movements trigger a stronger hormonal response, which leads to greater muscle growth and better functional strength. Third, they embrace progressive overload. That means they're always tracking and slowly increasing the challenge. A little more weight, an extra rep, a harder variation. Your muscles adapt to the stress you place on them, and if you don't increase the challenge, they'll stop growing. Fourth, they emphasize eccentric training, the lowering phase of a movement. Slowly lowering the weight under control creates more tension on the muscle, which is especially effective for older adults. Plus, it's easier on the joints. And the best part? It's never too late to start. A study from the University of Alabama found that seniors in their 70s who began progressive resistance training gained over 3 pounds of muscle and increased their strength by 35% in just 12 weeks. They also saw improvements in bone density, blood sugar control, and even cognitive function. Now, the most common mistake? Believing resistance training is dangerous at this age. But the truth is, not doing it is far more dangerous. Without it, muscle loss accelerates, leading to frailty, falls, and dependence. So if you adopt only one habit from this entire list, make it this one. Start with proper guidance, use correct form, and build gradually. Even just 2 30-minute sessions a week can completely change your aging trajectory. Method number: maintaining hormonal health. There's another piece of the muscle preservation puzzle that rarely gets discussed, and that's hormones. Specifically, the decline in key anabolic hormones like testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, and DHEA that naturally happens as we age. Now, this doesn't mean you need to jump straight to hormone therapy. In fact, many super-agers keep their hormone levels in a healthy range without medication, simply by supporting their body's natural production. How? It starts with resistance training, not just because it builds muscle, but because it triggers the release of growth hormone and testosterone, even in older adults. One study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology showed that seniors who performed regular strength training boosted natural testosterone by up to 40% over 12 weeks. Next is sleep. Again, deep sleep, especially during the first half of the night, is when the body produces growth hormone. That's why getting consistent, quality sleep is one of the most powerful natural hormone boosters available. Third, stress management plays a huge role. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that directly breaks down muscle tissue and blocks testosterone. Super-agers often incorporate breathing exercises, mindfulness, or daily relaxation routines to keep cortisol in check. And finally, diet matters. They eat plenty of healthy fats, like those from avocados, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish, because hormones are made from fat. Plus, they get key micronutrients like zinc and vitamin D, which support hormone synthesis. By keeping their hormones in balance, super-agers don't just maintain strength, they support their energy levels, metabolism, mood, and longevity. Because aging well isn't just about the number of years, it's about the quality of life you have in those years. Method number 5. Vitamin D optimization. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked, yet absolutely essential, nutrients for muscle strength: vitamin D. Over 80% of seniors are deficient in it, and that deficiency could be silently weakening your muscles every single day. You've probably heard that vitamin D is important for your bones, but it's just as critical for your muscles, balance, and coordination. In fact, researchers at Harvard found that vitamin D directly activates the genes responsible for muscle protein synthesis. That means, without enough of it, your body literally can't build or maintain muscle, no matter how well you eat or how often you exercise. Even more eye-opening, a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had 25% more muscle strength, better balance, and quicker reaction times than those who were deficient. That can be the difference between staying independent or needing help with basic tasks. So how do super-agers make sure their levels stay in the sweet spot? First, they understand that sunlight alone isn't enough, especially as we age. By the time you're 65, your skin produces 50% less vitamin D from sunlight compared to when you were 20. That's why most seniors need to supplement. And here's where many go wrong. The standard recommendation of 600 IU per day? Way too low. Research shows most older adults need between 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily to reach optimal levels, and that should be personalized with a simple blood test. Second, they combine supplementation with diet. Fatty fish like salmon, egg yolks, and fortified dairy are all helpful, and when possible, 15 to 20 minutes of midday sun exposure can still give your body a natural boost. But here's a crucial detail. Vitamin D needs a partner, vitamin K2. Why? Because K2 directs calcium to your bones, where it belongs, instead of your arteries. Without it, high-dose vitamin D could actually contribute to arterial calcification, something you definitely don't want. Super-agers often get their K2 from fermented foods like natto, certain cheeses, or supplements that include both nutrients together. The target? Maintain a vitamin D level of at least 40 nanograms per milliliter. That's where the real muscle strengthening benefits kick in. So if you haven't had your levels checked recently, it's worth asking your doctor for a vitamin D blood test and adjusting from there. Because the truth is, optimizing this one vitamin could be the simplest, most impactful move you make to stay strong, stable, and independent for years to come. Method number 6. Hormetic stressors. This one might sound strange at first, but some of the strongest 80-year-olds actually stress their bodies on purpose. Not with drama or anxiety, but with what scientists call hormetic stressors. These are short, controlled bursts of physical stress that trigger your body to grow stronger in response. You've heard the phrase, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger?" Well, in this case, it's literally true, especially for your muscles. Super-agers regularly use these targeted stressors to activate their body's cellular defense systems, and the results are pretty incredible. Let's break down how they do it. The first method? Temperature variation. Cold exposure, like ending your shower with 30 seconds of cold water or taking brief cold plunges, has been shown to stimulate brown fat, increase mitochondrial activity, and release a hormone called adiponectin that helps protect muscle from breakdown. On the flip side, heat exposure from saunas or hot baths activates heat shock proteins, compounds that repair damaged muscle cells and prevent muscle wasting. One long-term study from Finland found that seniors who used saunas 4 to 7 times per week lost 40% less muscle over a decade than those who didn't use saunas at all. That's a massive difference just from getting hot. Next up, intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. Super-agers often eat within an 8 to 10 hour window each day, which triggers a process called autophagy, your body's way of cleaning out damaged cells, including dysfunctional parts of muscle tissue. Research has shown this approach can improve muscle quality and mitochondrial function in just 12 weeks, even without losing weight. And finally, there's overcoming isometrics, a fancy term for pushing or pulling against an immovable object with maximum effort for 5 to 10 seconds. Think of trying to move a heavy wall or holding a flexed position with all your strength. These brief, intense contractions send powerful signals to your muscles to maintain their size and strength. And they're easy on the joints too. But here's the most important part. Recovery is key. These stressors only work when they're applied briefly and followed by plenty of rest. That's how they activate longevity genes like FOXO and LIREN, genes that are directly involved in preserving muscle as you age. So don't overdo it. Start small, maybe a cold shower, a 10-hour eating window, or a few seconds of isometric holds. Then build up slowly over time. Because when used wisely, these mini stressors don't weaken your body. They train it to become more resilient at any age. Method number 7, social engagement and community. This might surprise you, but one of the most powerful protectors of strength in older adults isn't physical, it's social. That's right. Regularly connecting with others, staying socially active, and maintaining a sense of community has been shown to have a direct impact on physical function, especially in seniors. Why? Because social isolation leads to higher levels of stress hormones, reduced motivation to stay active, and increased inflammation, all of which can speed up muscle loss. Super-agers rarely go it alone. They stay connected, whether that's through group fitness classes, walking clubs, hobby groups, or simply having regular conversations with friends and family. These connections boost mental health, reduce stress, and often encourage consistent physical activity, all key ingredients for maintaining strength. A large-scale study from the Journal of Aging and Health found that seniors with strong social ties had significantly higher grip strength, better mobility, and lower frailty scores than those who were socially isolated, regardless of how much exercise they did. And let's be honest, it's just more enjoyable to stay healthy when you have people to share it with. So if you're focused on staying strong into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, don't overlook your social life. Whether it's joining a community center, calling an old friend, or simply saying yes to more invites, every connection counts. Method number 8, taking daily micronutrients. Most advice about staying strong focuses on the big stuff: protein, exercise, maybe even supplements. But what hardly anyone talks about are the micronutrients, the tiny nutrients that act like spark plugs for every muscle-building process in your body. Without them, your body can't fully use the protein you eat. And no matter how hard you work out, your muscles can still break down. That's why super-agers pay close attention to these often overlooked minerals and vitamins. Let's break down the essentials. First up is magnesium, what researchers call the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health. Over 70% of seniors are deficient, and that matters because magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions tied to strength, movement, and energy production. Seniors with healthy magnesium levels have been shown to have 30% better grip strength and significantly higher physical performance. Next is creatine. And no, it's not just for bodybuilders. Studies from McMaster University show that creatine helps increase muscle mass, strength, and even cognitive function in older adults. Just 3 to 5 grams daily can make your muscles more efficient and improve cellular hydration, creating a more anabolic environment. Then there's B12, but not just any form. Super-agers use methylated B12 or methylcobalamin, which is the active version your body can absorb easily. As we age, we produce less stomach acid, which makes it harder to absorb B12 from food. And common medications like metformin or proton pump inhibitors make it worse. Without enough B12, nerve-muscle communication breaks down, weakening your strength and reaction time. Also crucial are trace minerals like zinc, selenium, and chromium. These are essential for everything from protein synthesis to insulin sensitivity, which helps shuttle nutrients into your muscle cells where they're actually used. A study from Tufts University found that seniors with optimal levels of these minerals maintained 22% more muscle mass over 5 years compared to those who were deficient. But here's what sets super-agers apart. They don't guess. They get micronutrient testing to pinpoint their specific deficiencies, and then they supplement accordingly. No more wasting money on generic multivitamins that may or may not work. Because when your body has the right micronutrients, it doesn't just survive. It's equipped to build, preserve, and protect your muscle strength for decades to come. Bonus habit: prioritizing mobility. Training, here's something most people don't associate with muscle strength: mobility. But maintaining strong muscles isn't just about lifting weights or eating enough protein. It's also about making sure your joints can move freely and your muscles can work through their full range of motion. As we age, it's common for joint stiffness, poor posture, or old injuries to restrict movement. And when you can't move properly, your body compensates by avoiding those ranges of motion altogether. Over time, this leads to muscle imbalances, reduced flexibility, and a much greater risk of injury or falls. That's why super-agers make mobility training a regular part of their routine. We're talking about simple daily practices like dynamic stretching, gentle yoga, foam rolling, or targeted mobility drills. These don't just keep joints healthy. They also unlock dormant muscle potential by improving how muscles activate during movement. And it doesn't take hours. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day, especially before strength training, can dramatically improve how your body moves and how well it holds on to strength over time. Research from the American College of Sports Medicine shows that seniors who incorporate mobility work improve balance, coordination, and strength faster than those who only lift weights. And they're significantly less likely to suffer joint pain or setbacks that derail progress. So if you want to get the most out of resistance training and stay physically capable for life, don't skip mobility. Because muscles can't function at their best if the joints around them aren't moving well. So there you have it. 9 science-backed strategies that explain how some 80-year-olds stay strong, mobile, and independent, while others struggle with weakness and decline. From progressive resistance training to vitamin D optimization, protein timing, and even hormetic stressors. These aren't gimmicks. They're proven practical actions that can literally change the trajectory of how you age. You don't need to adopt all of them overnight. Just start with one, maybe the one that stood out to you the most, and build from there. Small, consistent changes add up in a big way. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits surprised you the most? Do you know someone in their 70s or 80s who's still incredibly strong? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone, and if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little strength inspiration in their life. Thanks for watching. Your future self will thank you for the investment you're making today.